Hi, I'm Jordan Townsend, practitioner here at Naturally You, and welcome to coming to our digital workshop. We're going to kind of go over here a little bit of what we do normally every single Tuesday, which once we get out of the COVID thing, we'll be back to. But we're going to kind of go over sort of what we do here at Naturally You. So I'm going to kind of start with my testimonial, just what got me into this. So if you go back at least to probably high school, so that's about 10 years ago for me, I started having all sorts of different symptoms sort of affecting me. I had skin issues with acne, I had brain fog, ADD type symptoms. Also had severe constipation. A lot of these things I didn't necessarily ever think could be related to my food. So I remember my mom decided to get me and my brother tested just to see, hey, what's going on with this? And sure enough, when the results came back, I was extremely sensitive to wheat specifically. So I remember as an 11th grader trying to figure out, what am I gonna do? Like, how am I gonna not eat bread? How am I not gonna eat pizza and all these different things? So through some time and working, I slowly started getting these things out of my diet. And as I started to improve my diet, more importantly, only exclude one or two specific things from my diet, all of these symptoms started to improve. First and foremost was the acne. As a 16-year-old, you just assume, hey, I have to have acne. That's just part of being a teenager. Turns out it wasn't. It was something I was doing to myself every day. So that was the first sort of thing I started to see improve. And it was about maybe 2 to 3 months of eating this way that I really started to feel my brain kind of come back online, for lack of a better word. This brain fog I'd been living in my entire life just sort of slowly started to recede. And I was like, I had my eureka moment, my whoa, is this how people can feel? So after doing that, I was probably about a senior in high school. And that's when I decided, okay, there's a lot more to this whole nutrition thing than I maybe originally understood. So I decided to study that in college, went to Mississippi State, got my degree in nutrition science there. And once I started kind of trying to see the way that we treat food, especially in the medical system, if you've ever been to a hospital recently or a nursing home, the food we're feeding people is very, very devoid of any sort of actual nutrition. It's not fresh, it's all out of a box. I knew real quick, this is not what I want to do. I want to actually help people get, more importantly, the food they need, and then when we can't, supplement it, get it in through a whole food nutritional version. And that's what we do here at Naturally You. So that's sort of how I got into this. Now I'm going to let Beth take over and tell you her story.
Hey, I'm Beth Messina, one of the practitioners here at Naturally You, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, but I'm going to tell you this, Naturally You and the way that we test here has saved my life at least twice that I know of. So, my backstory. A lot of women relate to my symptoms because honestly, I am today's woman in America 2020. When I was born with a heart murmur, and back then it was enough to where I couldn't do anything physical. So, it was no playing ball, no PE until high school. And as I got older, married, had my son, started gaining weight, and I did a lot of fad diets back then. People know these. It's Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem. What's the other one? I can't even remember. But I worked at a place called Physicians Weight Loss. Granted, I lost some weight, didn't stay off me, but I ate like a rabbit. I was not getting the nutrition that I needed for my body to heal. And my body was sending me a lot of symptoms, and I've come close to death several times in my life with illness because my body was not getting the nutrition that I needed to heal and repair. And when your body does that, it sends you a lot of serious symptoms. I've had so many surgeries in my life. Between 40 and 50, the first surgery that I had was emergency. That's one of my times I came close to death, and that was the gallbladder removal. And that I had damaged, probably genetically it was off anyway, but damage from all those fad diets. And it was so much so that I didn't know if I was going to have that horrible surgery where they give you that scar around your rib cage, because it was so close to just disrupting and causing all the inflammation and things that could kill me. So the next surgery was a few years later, and I had a hysterectomy because the fibroids were affecting my life. I was so miserable and in so much pain that I had the hysterectomy. A few years after that, I had neck surgery. Once again, it was very painful as my body saying, look, you're not doing something right. But they had to go in there and put a fusion. I have a metal plate in my neck. And then a few years after that, so I'm getting close to 50 now, I had 3 foot surgeries from what the doctors call plantar fasciitis. And one, they had to actually go in there and clip that nerve. And all of that was before Naturally You entered my life. So by the time that I found Naturally You, and Kim Townsend, who's the owner, had tested me, I had hit rock bottom. And when I say rock bottom, I'm gonna tell you some of the symptoms, but there were so many more. I had gained about 25 pounds in that 1 year, and I had knew enough to ask my doctor if it was my thyroid. So he was checking my thyroid every year for about 10 years, and he would say, you know what, your numbers are fine, just push the plate back. So about this time, I was still dieting. I was mainly just eating salmon and lettuce, still gaining weight. I had chronic fatigue. I had these horrible exertion migraines. I went to the head of neurology at UMC, and he put me on a seizure medication and Topamax, which was giving me memory problems. So then I had chronic back pain. I was going to a pain management clinic every, 3 months? And all he did was put me on pain meds. So many things. And through Naturally You, we figured out my endocrine system was off, and I did have thyroid issues, Hashimoto's to be exact, and other symptoms, but the migraines are gone, down 40 pounds, and just through Naturally You, I don't ever want to go back to who I was in my 40s, because in my 50s, I feel so much better. I'm going to turn it back to Jordan now.
So, we're going to kind of get into what we do here at Naturally You specifically. So, the main thing we do is what we call nutrition response testing. That's why we have this little thing. It kind of walks us through nice and easy what we're about here. So, nutrition response testing is just a form of muscle testing. There's actually a bunch of different types. This is the main one we use. We actually have a couple of different types that we can do here. This is our bread and butter. This is just the one we go back to. It's very quick, it's very effective, and it's very precise. That's all we're looking for, is make sure we can get that person what they need specifically in this moment. We're not looking necessarily long term in that individual testing. We're seeing what is the body asking for right now. That's why we like using this one. Now, the way we use this one specifically is we're going to be able to identify specifically what organs are the issue. Is it your thyroid? Is it your heart? Is it your pituitary? Is it your lung? Every single one of those is going to probably need a different specific nutrient. Maybe that's a different vitamin, a different mineral. We even have specific lung supplements. We have specific liver supplements. So that's what this is doing. It's helping us narrow it down to, of all the organs in your body, which ones are we actually focusing on? Which ones need the attention now? That's when we shift over to the second part, which is the design clinical nutrition. Well, I mentioned that already. We have liver supplements, we have lung supplements. Well, we actually have 6 or 7 specific supplements for your lungs. We have 6 or 7 specific supplements for your liver. Which one do you need? That's what we're actually trying to do here. It's not, hey, I think you need this one. That's not going to be very effective. We use your body in our testing to figure out, of all of the liver supplements we have, this specifically is the one you need. Guess which one you're getting? That one. That's why we love this system so much, and that's why we test the way that we do, to make sure that you're getting the exact thing you need. More importantly, not wasting your time or money taking something you don't need. So once we build this specific nutritional thing to each individual client, of course, the only reason you came and saw us is to get better. You want to improve that overall health. That's what I try to tell people all the time, is we don't want you just to survive. We want you to thrive. We want the best version of you that possibly can be. And that's what we're trying to do by feeding this body with a lot of times the stuff has just been missing for a very long time. So of course, as we start to do that, the other side of all this is safe and natural. Now, when we say that, everything we use in here is whole food. That means it's no synthetic vitamins, nothing, no fillers, none of that, no colors and dyes and any of that type of stuff. So that's what we really put our pride and joy in here, is that the stuff we use has been here a lot longer than you. It's the stuff you're made out of. It's whole food vegetables. Even a lot of our supplements have what we call organ meats in them. So like our pituitary supplements actually have some pituitary in it. Because, of course, what do you think your pituitary wants to help regenerate itself? More extra pituitary, but how much of that are you eating? Probably not a lot. If you look at our supplement Liviplex, it actually has bovine liver in the supplement. So that's what's kind of nice about this, is through doing Naturally Use program and taking these supplements, you don't have to go and eat a crazy old school survivalist diet. You can get this nutrition in just the amount you need, and you don't feel like you're eating cow liver every day. You don't feel like you're eating cow heart every day. Even though those may be very important and have some very specific nutrition that you need, you don't have to really change your diet 180 degrees. You can still eat semi-normally, but still get this stuff in every day. And that's what we're really trying to do here.
I'm going to use this triangle right here to help explain symptoms and nutritional deficiency. So you heard my symptoms and Jordan's symptoms. You can put your symptoms up here at the top. It can be anything from migraines to diabetes to high blood pressure, whatever your symptoms are. And so what causes those symptoms is organ dysfunction. So that means, and like Jordan was saying, about the liver, maybe your liver is not working optimum to get all the harmful toxins out of your body like a little filter. Maybe your heart's not working good enough. Some kind of organ in your body is not optimum, and it could be more than one. So through nutrition response testing, we can figure that out. But what leads to organ dysfunction is nutritional deficiency. So let's think about this. Why does your body get hungry in the first place? What is your body looking for when it's hungry? Nutrition. So when you go to that grocery store and you walk inside, do you spend more time in that outer perimeter or on that inner perimeter? And think about it for a minute. What is the difference? So those of you that go grocery shopping automatically know. But on that outer perimeter are the whole foods, what your body wants to heal and repair. The proteins, the produce. On that inner perimeter is all what we call the dead food, the chemical-laden chips, the boxed and the bagged foods that don't heal and repair. They actually add to the toxins, and deficiencies. Now, my mother is in her 80s, and when she first started this program, her body responded so fast. And if you think about that, why? When she was a child, there was no junk food. They were eating the whole animal. They were eating the foods from the ground, a healthier soil than we have today. So even in her 80s, her body responds back faster. So if she's the most unhealthy generation, what would be the most unhealthy? Would be our toddlers and our infants. And that's the generation that we want to get a hold of, to change things so that they can become aware of the foods that they need to eat. There are too many families, and the mothers work, the fathers work. Let's go through McDonald's. Let's go through Chick-fil-A, because the kids have dance and they have football and whatever else, and it's so easy to feed them these toxic foods, and they don't get enough vegetables. So here at Naturally You, we can identify the organs in your body that are not functioning properly, that need the nutrition to regenerate and repair. We can also identify the stressors. There are different kinds of stressors. It can be foods, it can be chemicals, metals, it can be immunities, and today, especially with what's going on, we want to keep the immune system strong. So we can identify what nutrition the body needs to begin to regenerate and repair. And the good thing is we can also identify when the body's done with that particular supplement. So when's the last time you went to the doctor and he said, you know what, you don't need that blood pressure medicine anymore. You don't need the different medications that you're on.
So we're going to actually show you kind of what our testing here at Naturally You actually looks like. So I'm going to just use Beth here as just a little demonstration. We're going to kind of walk through what we're doing here. So the first thing we do is we want to make sure we have what we call a locking arm. So all Miss Beth's going to do is when I push this way, she's going to give me the exact same amount of force or pressure going that way. So you'll hear us say a lot, match my pressure. So let me just get you back center here, Miss Beth. Match me. So that's why I use one finger. That's all you need to push. Doesn't need to be strong, doesn't need to be hard, as long as it's what we call locks. So once we have our locking arm, you can rest for me. We got to go figure out what organs. Now, a lot of this is going to be demonstration. When you come in to actually get tested, we'll do what we call a full body scan, and we'll go through everything on you. So the first thing we're going to do, though, so say we go to Miss Beth's lung right here. Well, if there's any sort of weakness, stressors, we have those in boxes in the rooms as well, or any sort of thing that's upsetting that lung or stressing it, all I got to do is put what we call a little bit of ischemic pressure, i.e. wake the body up, bring some blood flow or attention to that area. So when I put that little bit of pressure, Miss Beth's lung is happy and healthy and has everything it needs, her arm simply locks. With that same pressure, it doesn't budge. For demonstration purposes, if there was something stressing it, more importantly, if it was missing something it needed to function properly, and I add that little bit of pressure, all you have to think about that is sort of the straw that breaks the camel's back. So that little bit, the body says, hey, I value this organ or this lung way more than this appendage. So just by using that little bit of pressure, her arm will go weak. So you stay there for me. And the reason this works too, it's very similar to what we all know as hypothermia. When you're freezing to death in the cold, the body doesn't, you don't have to actively tell your body, hey, protect my heart, protect my thyroid, protect my liver. It does it automatically. And that's what we're actually working with here. We're using your autonomic nervous system or your automatic nervous system. So once we find the weak, that's when our different little supplements come into play. So we'll take these supplements, she can hold it, I'll just set it on her body, because as long as it's in her energy field, her body is not aware that she has not ingested this. It just says, hey, that specific nutrition that I've been looking for just showed up. So when we place these supplements in their energy field, when you think about an energy field, all you got to really think about is a magnetic field. Have you ever seen a magnetic field? Well, no, but you've seen the effects of one. That's because it's usually about 1 to 2 feet on humans. It's not very big. But has anyone ever gotten too close to you? You ever feel like someone's right up behind you, making you uncomfortable? That's because they're in your energy field. So that's what's nice about these, is your body is always looking basically for you, for threats, for things that it may need, for nutrients. So that's what we're tapping into here, is we're letting your body wake up to this nutrition and pick for itself what it needs. So if this is the correct nutrition and I go back to this place, it'll come back strong. More importantly and more often when we do our testing, I come back, it goes weak. So that's why we just keep going until we find what your body's looking for. And there we go, that came back perfectly strong. So thank you, Ms. Beth. I appreciate it.
Thank you for watching our digital workshop.
Use the code below to get your first 2 visits for $50, which is normally a $140 value. See you soon.